Hello, everybody. We are here today, Lori Jovest and Kylie Metcalf of Pop Speed Digital Marketing LLC, to talk to you about newsletters. We are a digital marketing shop, and digital includes email communication. One of our favorite forms of email communication is newsletters. Why is that, Kylie?
Well, we think that every brand should have a newsletter for so many reasons. It opens a new outlet to communicate with your most loyal customers and really reward them for being as loyal as they are. Um, Among many other reasons that we'll get into, but one of like the really key things we want people to get out of this conversation is the fact that it's not just as simple as throwing together a newsletter and reaching out periodically or too often to those really loyal members, because that's a surefire way to lose them. It has to be
Yes.
intentional, it has to be strategic, and it has to be in a way that's timely in the sense that it's often enough that people are thinking of you, but not so
Mhm.
frequent that you're spamming your most loyal customers.
Yeah. I know I've gotten on some lists where I'm getting emails every day, and I don't want an email
Yeah.
every day. Even if
Mm-hmm.
I love you and your brand, I still would rather kind of have those messages consolidated into one worthwhile publication. So, what we're going to do today is talk through, what we do, how we do it, and how it can benefit your organization or your brand. Newsletters are should be something people look forward to getting.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if you would like to get our newsletter, we have a little sign up on our website at popspeeddigital.com. We send it out on the first day of the month. It's called We Got Here First. And we include solid tips and typically links to useful information in articles on our website. So if you
Mm-hmm.
see a story about a newsletter, you're going to be able to click and go read more and get some good, helpful information about that subject. And that's one of the things we advise people to do
Mm-hmm.
is to make sure it's valuable. Um, let's start with your goal. What is it that you want to accomplish? Why are you doing it? Any good initiative needs direction and a plan and a purpose. So when you sit down to determine if you're going to do a publication like this on a regular basis, usually we recommend monthly, start with your why. What might a why be, Kylie?
I think the best way for me to, I guess, kind of get into it is thinking about our why for our newsletter, right? And
Mhm,
a top priority for us is communicating that really helpful information and
mhm,
letting our audience know that social media works or digital marketing works or whatever our message is that given month, letting them know that that is the case and that um, with strategy and with goals in mind, digital marketing can be really effective, but also
mhm.
letting our audience know that we are here for them. So that's like an
Yes.
example of our why. For another client that we have where we do their monthly newsletter, I would say their why is to communicate to families. I know we've talked about sandcastles before, to communicate to their families that you're not grieving alone, that
Mhm,
they offer resources to support grieving families in the community, and sometimes to garner donations and volunteers. So
mhm,
the why can be very broad. Um, to kind of hone it in, I think a real universal why is to keep in touch and keep yourself in
mhm.
the minds of your audience.
Huge. That's huge. And we look at it as an opportunity to demonstrate our expertise too. So that's one
Yeah.
thing you can do. When you provide valuable information about the industry or a how to related to what you do, you are demonstrating your expertise.
Yeah,
And over
absolutely.
time, that expertise, the impression that you have that expertise builds in the minds of the people receiving your monthly publication. So
Mhm.
lots of different whys.
I think one more point there. Sorry to cut you off, Lori,
Oh,
for
that's all right.
making your goal or determining what the purpose is of your newsletter is to not just consider internally what you want to communicate through your newsletter, but also be very strategic and intentional about what you want your audience to get out of it.
Mhm. What you'd like them to do. Do you want them to read
Yeah.
more? Do you want them to get in touch, make a donation, make a purchase? There's always um, an overarching goal for the publication as well as for the stories in it. So what are your goals? That's the first part of creating a successful e-news
Yeah.
correspondence. Next one, make it valuable. Oh,
Valuable.
I probably have 6 or 7 e-newsletters that I look forward to. And
Mm-hmm.
every one of them shares something that's either thought-provoking, it's a special offer, it's, some kind of education, those kinds of things. What do you think makes an e-newsletter valuable, Kylie?
I think from a brand standpoint, by removing yourself from it, and your audience doesn't want to just be sold to in your newsletter. It's a great way for them to just click, oh, market is read. I don't care. I don't want to read it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think to make it valuable is to make it about your audience and what they need and want. So for us, I know when we we're crafting our newsletter, we might throw in a little CTA here and there about, get in touch with us if we can help you further. And, maybe that's our segue to kind of get that intake. But for us,
Mhm.
it's more so about communicating really helpful, solid information that whether or not our audience is going to reach out to us right now, maybe they will in the future, but whether or not they're going to bring us into their digital marketing effort support team right now, we're going to give them information that is going to benefit them if they put it to use.
Mhm. And it not only is that potential, that recipient of that email maybe a potential customer, but people they know
Hmm.
could be potential customers. So when you provide that valuable information, you're more likely to get referrals too. I mean,
Yeah.
it really does go together. And I've had people say when they've received a newsletter from a company I worked for, I was just going to bid out this project and your email came in. So would you
Hmm.
like to bid on it? That happened so often when I was in the video production business for 20 years. And we always did a newsletter because it just, again, just popping into their inbox. Hey, guess what? We're here and we're here with great information is a much better place to come from.
Absolutely.
So and pretty matters.
Many matters. Yes.
Everybody wants to look at something nice, so
Yeah.
your aesthetics are important. Put
Hmm.
the time and attention in to make your newsletter pretty,
Hmm.
attractive, engaging. What are ways people can do that, Kylie?
I think there's a lot of information that's just a Google away about making newsletters pretty. I think a couple like quick tips are not to underestimate the power of white space. And we'll get in a
Mhm,
little bit more about, more words, fewer words, what's better. But by not overloading your newsletter with too much text or too many pictures or graphics and things of that nature, by not overloading it,
mhm,
by picking colors that not only coincide with your brand but are visually appealing, and
mhm.
connect with each other, and really putting together something that's cohesive and isn't overwhelming to look at.
Mhm, absolutely, you hit it right there, because I all of us are what we call busy,
Yeah.
and I don't know if we're busy as much as we're always being inundated with information beyond our
Exactly.
physical capacity to ingest it. So if you send something that's a whole lot of words, it's not going to look great, and it's also not
Mhm.
going to get you much attention. So the number of words, um, and your white space in your publication, it matters, definitely
Mhm.
matters. So
Which
okay,
leads
which
us into a great segue, right, to
yes, it
keep
does.
it brief. I knew that was coming next.
Yep.
But essentially, with the idea of white space and not being inundated with so much text, it's important to keep in mind that every audience member to your newsletter is busy and has finite mental calories, as we like to call it.
I love
So
mental
when
calories.
you exactly, it's everybody knows exactly what you're talking about when you talk mental calories, right?
Yep.
Especially this week, coming off of a big holiday week,
Oh,
we're all a little
reentry
tired.
is hard.
Exactly. So, yeah, kind of keeping in mind with mental calories, you want to going in line with making everything valuable. You want to lead with the big points, lose the points that really don't matter, and just kind of
Mhm,
add fluff. Nobody needs fluff. Everybody wants to know directly what you want them to take away from your newsletter. You don't want to make
mhm,
them guessing or keep people guessing by being cryptic, and you want to lead with need to know information. So I know an
Mhm.
example of something that we do in our newsletter is right front and center at the top. You're going to see our word count and how long it's going to take you to read our newsletter so people know exactly what they're getting into. Or if they just simply don't have the time to read it right then, if they know it's short, maybe they'll click star and come back and read it a little bit later.
Yes, true. Keep it brief. We always recommend the book Smart Brevity. It's our favorite.
It
Our
is.
friend Barbice recommended that book, and we love it. So we recommend everyone on this call or on this live event to read that book because it will really help you understand the incredible value of brevity, especially at this point in time. So,
Yeah.
okay, stay consistent. This is a really important one. If you commit to a newsletter, stick with it. It's really easy to give it up, especially in the early days. Like I think when we first started, we had 40 people on our list.
Mm-hmm.
That is hard because you're only sending to 40 people and you're like, why are we doing this? You're doing
Right.
it to create the pattern and create the idea in your prospects and your audience's minds that you're going to be coming out with something regularly. If you
Mm-hmm.
just shoot one out once in a while, it doesn't have the same impact, right?
Exactly, exactly. And what you said earlier too, Lori, is a great point. Even if somebody that's on our email list is not going to bring us onto their digital marketing team right now or in the next week or even in the next few months, who's to say that in a year from now they're not going to be ready or that in that time span they're not going to have a connection or somebody in their network that needs services like the ones that we offer and think back,
Right.
oh, they have really great information. I think they know what they're doing. You should talk to Pop Speed.
Yep, absolutely, and that's the biggest reason behind doing a newsletter in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate with your audience and, of course, get more business. That's what digital marketing is supposed to do. So,
Exactly.
keep going to get results and know that
Mm-hmm.
those early results may be a little unimpressive, but that's okay. You're creating a pattern, you're creating a habit, and you're creating a communication that will become valuable over time.
Exactly.
So, take us out, Kylie.
All right. So, in these lives, we spend a lot of times talking about social media, and to us, newsletters feel like a very straightforward thing that we don't touch on very often, but it's something that we really love doing. Before we started
Yes,
this live event, Lori and I were talking about. It's so funny. We don't talk about newsletters a lot, but they're so much fun to create. And you
they
may have
are.
seen on our intro slide, we like to craft newsletters with 40% open rates in mind. 40% is a great open rate, and we are very
Yes.
good at achieving and exceeding 40%. So, if
Yep.
you need any help crafting a newsletter or really getting one started, or even learning more about putting together an email list, we are here to help.
Yes, we are. And the ones that we do, I mean, we put a lot of time and energy into them and
Yeah.
into making sure that they're valuable and those open rates, what's really funny, I mean, I think we're creative people, but we're also numbers driven. So there is nothing better than going into Constant Contact. We're a Constant Contact partner, and that's usually who we use, though we can also use MailChimp. But
Mhm.
Constant Contact, is what we typically use, and there's nothing like logging in 3 or 4 days after you've sent an email newsletter out and seeing, like, 50 or 60% open and,
Yeah.
20% click-throughs. I mean, it is awesome, and knowing that you're sending traffic to the client's website and that you're really people are engaging enough to click through and want to know more. That is exactly what the purpose is, and we are
Mhm.
driven by results. We get, like, thrills out of, "Oh my god,
Yeah,
look at
we
this
do.
open rate," and I end up sending that screen grab to the client, because it's important. That's why we do what we do is to get action. So, if you wanna know more, visit our website, email it or the URL's right there and scrolling across the bottom. Or Kylie and I are both open networkers here on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect to us and private message us if you'd like to have a 30-minute audit of your newsletter or your social media. We offer those in every one of our events. No charge, no obligation, and please feel free to take advantage of that. So, thank you, Kylie. Thank you for everyone who joined us. We will see you in another month or so with another valuable LinkedIn Live. Take care.
Bye, everybody.